pop culture, reality TV, and a bunch of other things that smart women care about. I am your host, Saron Olcapa. How do you guys diddly do? I have to say, someone this week was like, I'm going to steal that whole diddly thing from you. And I got to say, like, I'm pretty sure I got that from Ned Flanders. I'm pretty sure I picked that up as a child whilst watching The Simpsons. So before you go using it all around town, just know where it originated. You're gonna walk around sounding like Ned Flanders, unironically. It's a choice. It's not a choice that I made as a child. It's just part of my vernacular. I don't know what's wrong with me. So let's start off with main character things where I regale you with stories of my life and you tell me I am sane, smart, and correct. This week has been fairly quiet. Honestly, it's been mostly dad stuff, aging parent stuff. My father is back in the hospital. He has been for quite some time now, actually. Like, I think it's been almost 2 weeks. I It's a roller coaster is really all I can say. And I don't really feel like talking about it because it is exhausting emotionally, mentally, and all of the in every way it can be. Pop culture has been on one this week, so I'm excited to talk about that in my things that pop section. And also, oh my god, we have so much to talk about regarding reality TV with Summer House and The Valley. The Valley episode last night was fucking insane. I cannot wait to get into it. And then we have our hot girl section, hot girl things, where we discuss things that are going on in policy, politics, world news, and maybe a social issue here and there. Because smart women, hot women, keep themselves informed. So I know this is supposed to be my like year of yes, right? But I don't know how to incorporate that into my dating life. Should I force myself to date if I just don't fucking feel like it? Is it supposed to feel like a job? Because I do want to have children. I do want to get married and find like I suppose a man to marry, a good one. And to do that, I have to leave my house and go out on dates and like talk to people. But I just don't wanna. And I know that like with other goals that I have, getting to that goal or, achieving that thing or reaching that milestone often involves doing things that like are not fun, not easy, you don't want to do, but ultimately it's worthwhile because you get what you want in the end. And for me, that's a family. But you also get conflicting information like just work on yourself, work on like making the best life for you, and he'll find you. And I've also heard it is like a job. You got to take it real seriously. You got to go on those dates. You got to make sure you're working those apps. It's a numbers game, and that shit stresses me out. So I also have the issue where I'm terrifyingly happy alone. It is borderline sociopathic. I don't understand. I had never been in a situation prior to my breakup last February where I lived alone. I grew up as I have 3 sisters, right? But the one that's closest to my age is 10 years older than me. So much of my like sentient life as a child and adolescent was lived alone as like an only child. And I never knew any other life. And I remember my parents and my sisters would ask me like, "Hey, did you ever wish you had a sibling?" And my thought was never, never once, never crossed my mind. Honestly, I would hate it. Probably, if I had a sibling my same age, would I have half the things? Like, I think that was my thought process. But like having a buddy around all the time, it's not something that I've ever experienced or been interested in. So now that I live alone for the first time, I was worried that I would be spiraling, I guess, and I would be trying to find my way, fill up my time in ways that were like unhealthy and unproductive. But that just simply has not been the case. I rarely, rarely feel the need to see people. Is that crazy? I know it sounds insane. I know I sound like it feels like I sound like a monster. And it's like like people. I do. When I am out and about, I make sure that I'm having a good time or I will leave. So it's just the getting me out part that's really, really fucking me up because, God, the fact that it involves a man just I find unsettling. You could call me a misandrist all you want. I frankly I do not care. Yeah, no, they've earned the ire, so that's none of my business. Anyways, that's what's been going on in my brain for the past week. It's just been opening the apps, getting overwhelmed, shutting the apps, opening the apps, getting overwhelmed, shutting the apps. Maybe I should be spending time out and about, like a bookstore, coffee shop, or whatever. I met my ex at a bar. I don't know, just like pray for me. And also, like, I applications are open, guys, especially if you know a nice Jewish boy that is preferably over the 5'9", 5'9" and above, because I am 5'9". That would be fabulous. I don't want him to even be able to spell MAGA. All of those things. If you know a nice Jewish man that fits the bill, let me know. And honestly, a non-Jew as well. I'm open. I'm open. Although I cannot remember the last time I was on a date with a non-Jew. And honestly, I don't even query for it. It's just there isn't enough quality to pick from anyways to try and limit it by religion or ethno-religion is just I would have 5 people to choose from. Like in real life, I'm mostly approached by Jewish men. It's crazy. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what it is. I've been told that I give Jewish too. And like your cliche, New York, bagel with a schmear, gesticulates a lot. Kind of way. I see it. I see it. And I love it when people say that because slay. Okay. So let's move on to pop culture things or things that pop. Things that happened this week in pop culture that we shan't ignore. And the first thing I want to talk about is Jordon Hudson and Bill Bellichick. So I'm on team Jordon Hudson and Bill Bellichick. I am not mad at this relationship. I think go forth. Live your weird little life together. At some point, it's like, is she being groomed by an older, more successful man? Or is he being elder abused by a young lassie? Like, I don't know. It could be either or. And I don't care. I don't care. It's so weird that I no longer give a fuck. And honestly, she seems to be real with it. She is a woman with a mission. She has her eyes on the prize. I don't necessarily know what that prize is. Actually, that's a lie. I do know what that prize is. It is a wedding without a prenup. That is the prize for Jordon. And Jordon, I'm not mad at it because what the fuck is what he has his eyes on the prize too. And that prize is that 24-year-old ass. So it seems like a win-win here. She doesn't strike me as a woman that's being groomed or taken advantage of. I'm pretty sure her last boyfriend was also in his 70s. I think this is a thing for her. So like, listen, girl, if you like it, I love it. At some point, like I want to make sure that their mental acuity is there. These men, let's stay away from those with maybe dementia or Alzheimer's. Make sure that they're really with it, okay? And I don't think we can cross over into the 80 territory without you potentially having to be arrested. Stick to 79 and under. I can't believe I'm even saying that. That number is fucking batshit crazy. But like, what do you mean? I watched a video of her on the field, like talking to some of the players or maybe the assistant coaches, because Bill Belichick allegedly or apparently coaches at North Carolina. And she was like bossing them bitches around. She was like gesticulating wildly and like explaining something. And it looked like she was like, this is how you do the play, run it like this. And it's just like, bitch, do you know anything about football? It looked like he was about to give her a headset and a clipboard and tell her to go do your thing, chicken wing. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but that image of her dad and Bill Belichick sitting front row and center at her Miss Maine pageant, and her dad is younger than Bill Belichick. That image was horrifying. Yes, but again, like I'm just being a judgmental bitch. Like I said, he's too old and she's too young. Those transgressions cancel each other out, and they should feel free to live their lives together in weird bliss. Okay? He doesn't he let me not say that he doesn't have that many years left, all right? I have an old ass dad too. So, sorry, I just imagined like how does she, you know, can you imagine hooking up with Bill Belichick? Can you imagine making out with Bill Bellichick? Oh no. No. No, 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 no. None of that, please. None for me. Um, what else about Jordon? She didn't win. She came in third. Last year she came in second. So whatever. But she did steal the show. I don't think that paparazzi was at last year's Miss Maine. So there is that. And I think your beauty pageant career ends at 27, so she has 3 more years of this stuff to go. People have like really strong opinions about beauty pageants, and I have strong opinions about the child ones. Like that shit is fucking weird. But I think after you become more aware of yourself and the child knows what they actually want, what they're comfortable with, like maybe when they're 13 or 12 or 14, perhaps they can start doing that shit on their own at their own request. But sticking your toddler in a beauty pageant in like a 12-foot circumference dress with lipstick, fake teeth, a full a full beat on her face, so heavy. The foundation is so caked on and so heavy that she's having trouble speaking and moving and like articulating her words. You're shoving go-go juice down her throat that so that she, sparkles on that stage. There's a problem. But when you're an adult and you're like trying to be Miss Maine or whatever, like okay, go do it. If we're going to talk about upsetting beauty standards, I don't think that these Miss America pageants or these Miss USA or beauty pageants in general are the biggest uh issues. Mainstream beauty, models, fashion, blah blah blah. That's celebrity culture. That's generally where the problem lies. Um and also, a lot of these women are in these pageants to get scholarships and do something else with their lives because obviously this does end at 27. There has to be something after this. You can't be like Rachel Raquel weeping into a fucking ugh, Tom Sandoval's waxy little chest about how she's aged out and has nothing to live for anymore. Oh, God, that was sad. Anywho, so Jordon and Bill still going fast, going strong and fast, frankly. I predict that by the end of 2026, they shall be married. They shall be married, and she will have a rock that she has to drag on the ground behind her. And, maybe they'll get 3 or 4 years of wedded bliss together. And then she walks away with a fat check and maybe a baby. Maybe a baby. You never know. No, she's not having a baby before she's 27 because, like I said, beauty pageants. But honestly, she did back out of being a cheerleader for North Carolina because of the commentary and the publicity around their relationship. So maybe she is willing to give it all up for old Billy. Old Billy. Old man Bill. Oh my God. What does her dad have to say? Jesus. And I also hope that he's paying for everything. He better be paying for everything. Okay. Next topic. Taylor Swift was served. Taylor Swift was served, and I think it has something to do with why Travis unfollowed Ryan. So I posted a video the other day about how I think that the timing of the subpoena and Travis unfollowing Ryan were not just coincidental, that they were related. And I one of my followers commented that the date of the subpoena was the 28th of April, and um, Travis unfollowed Ryan on the 27th. So it does seem really plausible that they got a heads up that they were going to be receiving a subpoena the next day. Travis was like, fuck those two, dragging me into this shit, dragging my girl into this shit, and unfollowed him. It seems like the most reasonable conclusion to me. I don't care what anyone says. Travis unfollowing Ryan is it says something, and it says something very bad about the state of her relationship with Blake Lively. I heard a bunch of people saying that they were really disappointed in Tree Payne's Taylor Swift's publicist statement about how she feels like this whole thing is just like a publicity stunt on Baldoni's side. And I would not have expected her to say anything fucking different. It would if I was Taylor Swift's publicist, my priority is keeping Taylor's hands as clean as possible and her reputation, her image as unmarred by this controversy as possible. That is the statement I would have made. She can't appear to be blatantly saying, fuck you, Blake. That equals a media circus. That equals disaster. That is the opposite of what Tree and Taylor want. They want to cause as little hubbub and commotion around all of this already like eh, highly publicized thing by alluding to a change in the state of their relationship in such a formal manner. That doesn't change. That everything she said in the statement said that all that Blake said about her involvement on this film was a lie. In her text messages, she said that Taylor had seen the script and Taylor had commented on the script and gave notes. Justin Baldoni said that Taylor and Blake were shown the tape at the same time of Isabella Ferrer, who played young Blake in, or young Lily, young Blake in It Ends With Us. And they both wanted her. And Isabella Ferrer herself on the red carpet said, I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this, but Taylor chose me. In addition to when Blake Lively was asked about Taylor's hand in making the film, she said she was in this with me every step of the way, right? These comments in and of themselves are enough in my brain to merit a subpoena. It makes a lot of sense that you would want to hear what she was talking to her best friend about in this time where she was in such emotional tumult. This best friend that she shared all everything with, who she said was with her in this filmmaking process all the way through. This person that she said gave notes on the script, who she cornered Justin Baldoni with in her apartment. It would make sense that the defense would want to know the extent of the conversations that were had between the two or the three. This is Taylor Swift's worst nightmare. She likes to keep this her side of the street clean, and I always quote like, "Drop my name and I owe you nothing." She seems to very much not like that, and like between the Dragon Khaleesi comments and her all the implications of Taylor's involvement in the production of this film, she's dragged her into this mess won't that's like never ending. I don't think it's just publicity on Justin's part. I don't at all. I think it stresses Blake out. It's very unpleasant for Blake, the fact that Taylor is being brought into this and subpoenaed and might have to take the stand. And I think causing her that distress is enough to make this worth it for Baldoni and team. If I was Baldoni's lawyer, I would do the exact same thing. I would want to make this process as uncomfortable for the prosecution as possible. That seems reasonable, and they have cause to speak to her and to seek out these communications. So, um, it really is what it is. I don't know if we're going to be able to see anything that comes from that subpoena or anything that comes from discovery. Really, discovery is, the sharing of information between the defendant and the prosecution after the complaints have been, filed, and the optimal complaint is there. Discovery can start, but a subpoena happens when you're requesting information from a third party that isn't named in the case. Thus, Taylor Swift is obviously not named in this lawsuit, but her conversations, her communications, her involvement might be pertinent to the case. Therefore, they want to hear it and see it. Unless in the discovery part, unless we see a lot of discovery disputes, um, So either Justin or Blake's side saying that, like, this is inappropriate, this isn't pertinent to the case, I don't want to share it, then that's when we would be likely to see what they have been discovering, which is a little bit ironic, but it is what it is nonetheless. Let's hope that they have a lot of disagreements on what they deem is appropriate for discovery. With the subpoena process, I'm not sure how and when we would ever see that, but I don't know. We still have April, May. We have 10 months to go before this case, and it does not seem like either side is eager to call it quits at this point. Justin Baldoni just had to close down a foundation he had in regards to supporting women, and I think that these things he takes very personally, and like we all know, he has the backing of Steve Sarowitz. And when he said, I will spend $100 million to make sure that Wayfarer survives, I believe he was serious. So, I mean, see you in court in March of 2026, I suppose. But that seems to be the long and short of it thus far. The process shall continue, and I will be giving updates every week. All right, next on the docket is Cassie on stand at the Diddy trial. So, Cassie, who is like heavily pregnant, she's very clearly in her third trimester. And it's heartbreaking. They had an escort that Diddy hired also testified to describe how he assaulted Cassie. And the things that that woman endured, I can't imagine. I don't understand his depravity, P. Diddy. I don't have very much to say on this topic because it's so fucking cut and dry and dark. P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, evil, pure evil. He's a sadist, like a sexual sadist. And I swear to God, it's giving murderous as well. The way he debased that woman is unbelievable. It is a horror. The fact that she survived is crazy. She's so strong to be on that stand, heavily pregnant, reliving all of this. It must be so hard, but she's doing the damn thing. She's making sure that that jury sees her face, that they feel that emotion, they understand the depth of his depravity. And I know that cameras aren't allowed in there, but the court sketch artist has been doing a fabulous job rendering those images. It's crazy. And what blows my mind even more is that P. Diddy's kids are at the trial. When the escort came on stage to talk about like the details of all of the assault that he perpetrated on Cassie, they left. But otherwise, his daughters are there. First of all, if I was him, why the fuck do you want them there in the first place? I would want them as far away from that courtroom as humanly possible. Not only for selfish reasons, not wanting to mar how they view you based on these horrifying things, but also to not emotionally scar them more than they obviously already have been. It's beyond selfish. It's horrifying, and I hope it backfires in his face so extremely. I hope his daughters eventually realize what kind of a monster their father is, and continue on their lives accordingly. He deserves nothing. He doesn't deserve any love. He doesn't deserve any respect. He doesn't deserve any kindness. He deserves due process and that's it. That's it. Fuck, that's all I can say about that topic. Oh, and the final thing I wanted to discuss was Shah Rukh Khan at the Met Gala. It is so confusing to me, the backlash that interview of Ego and Tiana with Shah Rukh Khan and Sabyasachi got from the South Asian community. The woman that saw Sabyasachi and Shah Rukh Khan prior to them being interviewed by Ego and Tiana, I believe was white, and asked Shah Rukh Khan, "What is your name?" Shah Rukh Khan and Sabyasachi move on to Tiana and Ego. Ego introduces introduces Shah Rukh Khan. She says, "This is Shah Rukh Khan. Hi, how does it feel to be the first male Bollywood actor at the Met Gala? How does it feel to make history?" And Sabyasachi interjects and says, "Well, Shah Rukh Khan is actually the biggest star, to give you context. He's the biggest star in the world. He has the most fans in all of the land. He is the most glorious star in all of the stars and sprinkle twilight glitter, blah, blah, blah." Ego was like, "Oh, okay, go off, King. Like, talk your shit. Like, positive." And all of the feedback from the South Asian community has been the disrespect. Do they know who Shah Rukh Khan is? He is King Kong. King Khan. He is bigger than the Met Gala. I actually think they expected Ego and Tiana to give him some kind of uh, I don't know, hype up speech prior to asking him a question. That's not what they did with anybody else. They weren't going to treat him any like special at all. They treated him with the appropriate amount of respect. They knew who he was. They asked him a pertinent question, and the Sabyasachi robbed Shah Rukh Khan of the opportunity to talk about how it's crazy the fact that this was the first male Bollywood actor at fashion's biggest night. That Bollywood film has had an immense impact on culture across the world. Um, and I said this in my video, but this is his, the lack of representation here is a microcosm of what we see in media in general. Like, that is a valid statement. It speaks to underrepresentation of South Asians in Hollywood. Instead, people are fucking incensed that Ego didn't say, "King Khan, your royal highness, bow, curtsy, salute, dance a fucking jig, and I don't know." It's absurd. And she knew who he was. She literally called him by name and asked him a question that required her knowing exactly who the fuck he is. Knowing, sorry. And the fact that nobody is bringing up the white person who actually asked Shah Rukh Khan who he is what could be the difference? What could it be? I don't know. Is it racism? Yes, it absolutely fucking is. It absolutely is. I don't, it's not even complicated. It's not even that like uh, hidden. It's not even a microaggression. It is aggression. I have seen videos of South Asian people calling Ego and Tiana too ghetto to have done this interview. Are you kidding? Are you joking? Like, that's not a microaggression, that's a macroaggression. The mental gymnastics that it takes for people to somehow translate the how does it feel to make history as the first male Bollywood star at the Met Gala into something that was meant to denigrate and degrade him. That simply was not the case. They were asking a valid question, and you did not like that their tone wasn't exalting. That's it. They are peers. They are not journalists. They were not there in a journalist capacity. They were there to talk, to chit chat a bit with other celebrities going down the carpet, maybe have a little tee hee, a good time, perhaps create a viral moment or two, a fun, funny, light one. And also, did you hear the way that Ego said Shah Rukh Khan? The way she rolled that R. Sorry, I'm not. Yeah, there we go. Rolled that R. She practiced that shit. She cared. She cared enough. She wanted to be respectful. The only disrespect is coming from the people hating on her for, I don't know, not bowing to the great Shah Rukh Khan. And not to mention the fucking theme was black dandyism. Black dandyism. When Sabyasachi was asked about how he created this look for Shah Rukh Khan, in the vein of the theme, which is black dandyism. He said, fuck that shit. My inspiration was Shah Rukh Khan is a superstar. He is a megastar, and his outfit reflects that. He's such a star. Like, that was his response. So you're saying you said fuck you to the theme, which was fashioned through the lens of African American history, Black American history, and you said, I don't care, fuck your theme. Let's just talk about how incredible Shah Rukh Khan is. And then the Black interviewers, the Black celebrities asking him a couple questions are the disrespectful ones. Get the fuck out of here. His outfit was lazy as hell. And it wasn't tailored, by the way. He looked like a Severus Snape, okay? It was giving Hogwarts. Shah Rukh Khan himself, delightful on the carpet. Oh my God. And it speaks to the insanity of the way that their interaction was was internalized by the South Asian community. He himself said, I get nervous at these things. The videos attacking Tiana and Ego about their interaction with Shah Rukh Khan, I'll say, and the audacity for them to ask if he's nervous. He is the Shah Rukh Khan. Girl, he said it himself. He said it himself. The conversation, the back and forth between Tiana, Shah Rukh Khan, and Ego was sweet, delightful. There was no conflict there. Sabyasachi was the main problematic one. And that being said, though, as the celebrity, as the biggest star in the world, I know it is the designer who is telling you what you wear. You are still the face of that look. People are still going to be judging you for wearing it. It was Shah Rukh Khan's responsibility as well to make sure that what he was wearing to the Met Gala actually it reflected somewhat, just a skosh, a little smattering of the theme. But no, he was just like, whatever, let's make it all about me. And the night wasn't all about him. The night wasn't. And frankly, let's be honest here. This was the first Met Gala that he was invited to, right? It took a black board, a theme about Black American history and fashion for him to get invited by a bunch of Black people, and then for him to get there, say fuck your theme, his designer to denigrate them, and for the South Asian community to lie on these women. It's fucking wild. And there are other South Asian actors and celebrities there, of course, who did a fucking fantastic job. Fantastic job. It's just Shah Rukh Khan, the biggest star in all of the land, King Kong. That really annoyed the fucking shit out of me. And had all these think pieces not been made about how Ego and Tiana fucked up and disrespected him, I would not be here right now ripping everyone to shreds. This is, and I see some people backtracking now. It's going to take a while for, just like the ghetto of it all. Ghetto? Who the fuck do you think you are? Shah Rukh Khan, be more careful with who you associate with. Sabyasachi, go fuck yourself. Tiana and Ego, you guys are stars. Delightful, wonderful, beautiful, perfect queens, and never fucking change. So that was our Things That Pop segment. I would like to move on to reality TV things. We got to talk about Summer House. All right. I want to first discuss Sierra. And I hope everyone who was calling Sierra some kind of like evil seductress sees the error of their ways, because the way Sierra flirted with Jesse for one weekend in the beginning of summer, I'm sure it didn't feel like anything in her mind. And then this girl, Lexi, shows up falls, I don't know whether she's in love with him, unless I don't know what their situation is. Like everybody said, it's fucking weird. And she's trying to make you the villain in the story. Lexi literally just got there. Like, do you guys understand how fucking crazy this timeline is? So Lexi is new to the house. Jesse decides that he wants to wife her up week 1. Week 2 happens, I think it was a week 3. She's gone for the weekend, right? 3 weeks in. He flirts heavily with Sierra. Sierra has only known Lexi for 2 weekends at this point. 4 days. She's hearing about their relationship through Jesse's view. That two-faced fuckboy. She's known Jesse for over a year. She felt like, what? So what? Why not flirt? That's weekend 3. And then weekend 4 is when shit hits the fan. By Jesse telling Sierra that Lexi is uncomfortable with their relationship, people have decided that suddenly Sierra has done something to merit this discomfort. Like it wasn't Jesse who was actively flirting with her, who hoped to hook up with her. Did you not see him in the bed with Paige and Amanda when he was like, well, like, do you think she thought we were gonna hook up? And Amanda and Paige in unison didn't even give it a split second. Nope, because it's not that serious. It was just, she was just having a good time. Like, if I'm this confused by the anger towards Sierra, I cannot imagine how befuddled she is, because once she realized that like they're messy and weird together, what is she gonna fight for Jesse? She doesn't want that man. Then why are you fucking mad at her? Like, she has done absolutely nothing wrong, right? Even if she were to have made out with Jesse that weekend, to not do that because of a girl she's known for 4 days, I think that's crazy. I don't know. But we saw that scene when they were all in the bedroom and Sierra just blatantly was like, he's punching above his weight. He's two-faced. I'm still pissed at him. And it was very clear, like in her brain, no beef with Lexi. In her brain, she's like, I don't want your man. And I haven't touched him, looked at him since he said, don't touch me. What does that have to do with, what does your bullshit have to do with me? Obviously, this is a Jesse problem. Take this up with Jesse. And I'm so excited to hear on tonight's episode what exactly Jesse has been saying about Sierra behind her back, because it is giving two-face. But we also do know that they were hanging out at Coachella like a month ago. So obviously he's weaseled his little way in. So is the two-facedness exactly what we're seeing on screen, like in his confessionals, and how he's interacting with the girls versus Lexi differently? Or does it get darker than that? Does he say crazier shit than what we're seeing to Lexi? And maybe he does, because Lexi got on Watch What Happened Live and someone asked, I believe it was an animatronic toe, asked her what is like the most shit that Jesse has ever talked to you about West. And she said that, oh, so many things, but he thinks that West used Sierra to get famous. And then Andy was like, well, he was on the show, he was going to get famous anyways. And then her and Tinks like simultaneously were like, more famous. Like, it was giving, it made him more famous, more relevant. And it did. You see what happens when you're not relevant on the show. They edit your ass out. Not a sharp left, just like a slight veer to the left. Did you guys know that scene where West and Amanda and Lexi and I don't know, I think someone else was there, pregnant Lindsay, were at that picnic table having dinner, having that conversation about how but West lost his best friend last year and how Sierra comforted him? M. Rule was there. He was sitting at that table. He was sitting at the table. They cut him out of the dinner when he was at the table. I don't know why, but I find that so fucking crazy. Like, why is that necessary? What did he do that was so wrong? I actually feel fucking bad for M. Rule. I do. Were there rules, uh, explain to him about when and where he's allowed to fuck? Because I feel like we got our wires crossed somewhere. He, yes, is having a lot of sex. He is. He is. Um, and he does lead with that, right? But I don't think he's causing much harm. He seems like I don't get the puritanical nature of their qualms with him. If it's a matter of they don't like random people being brought into their home, I think that's kind of crazy given like your job is having like hundreds of randos in your house every weekend, drunk and, dressed like cowboys and spacemen. Suddenly, if Rule wants to bring one of them upstairs and do a little bangity bang, there's a problem. And maybe it's like he is prioritizing fucking and hooking up with women than like actually getting close to his castmates and his housemates and like having some kind of relationship with them that goes beyond just coexisting. But I don't know. I don't think that they're capable of even giving him a real chance at this point because they're like the girls. It's the girls' house and the girls are turned off. So I think that he's better off, cutting his losses and just like maybe just I don't know. He's not coming back next season. Like let's get it so real. You know who he reminds me of? His interactions with the cast reminds me of Jules. Do you remember Jules' season of Summer House? That shit was sad. That was the saddest shit I've seen on that show, and I've seen Hannah's season. She was she was excluded. She was excommunicated. Remember when Carl looked at her and was like, "We don't like you. Why the fuck are you here?" For seemingly no reason. And then they ended up hooking up. Yeah, they don't like him, Rule. I don't think they gave him a fair shot. If he wants to do a bunch of fucking, that's really up to him. Is that like boring for the viewer? Yeah, but whatever. I still don't understand why they cut him out of that dinner scene. Even if he wasn't saying anything, having him sit there isn't offensive. Maybe they have to pay him if he's featured in the episode. And was he featured in that last episode? Maybe not. Huh. Interesting. Oh, maybe that's why they cut out the dead weight. Like that girl, Winifred, Meg. I don't know. Anyways, the girl with the bangs that was there with Lexi in the beginning. Perhaps she just wasn't giving what they needed her to give, and it was just cheaper to cut her out and not pay her for the remaining episodes where she really didn't provide anything. Like, I wonder how many weekends she was actually in the house, versus how many weekends she was featured on the show. Jesse saying that West only got with Sierra to become more famous. I don't know if I believe that. Lexi's giving a woman scorned right now. I don't I'm gonna have to watch tonight's episode before I decide whether I believe anything that Lexi says. I'm gonna have to watch her interact with Sierra before I make that decision. But that if it's true that he said that and he does talk a lot of shit about West, then that makes me sad because I thought they had a seemingly like sweet, close friendship, like a legitimate bond. I'm familiar with that kind of betrayal. I I stopped talking to my best friend in life because I overheard her saying the craziest shit I've ever heard in my life about me behind my back. So I take shit talking behind people's back like very, very seriously. Like there are 7 billion people on this planet. A handful of them are your friends. Why not talk shit about the rest of the 7 billion and, be nice about the ones that you're supposed to be nice about? And if you have an issue, talk to them about it, you know? So what I'm hearing about Jesse and West is Jesse's problem with West is Jesse's ego. Nothing really to do with West. And I don't know, does Sierra think that West only did it for screen time? Because I know that part of the talking point in last season finale was that like he was being weird about the fame aspect and like ratings and blah blah blah. And Paige had to be like, we are living our lives and happen to be on the show. We don't live our lives for the show. And I think that embarrassed him. He's just such a blithering idiot. Like he cannot string a sentence together in a moment of like seriousness if his life fucking depended on it. He is. It is. I do not like that energy. I don't like broken, sad, energy. Like, especially if you're the one that fucked up, have some like dignity. Anywho, that is my summer house recap. And then let's move on to the Valley. Oh my God. I don't know where to begin. Jesse was accused of taking money from gay men to support his lifestyle. Turns out, we discussed this last week. Jesse is poor. Michelle basically outed him for having a sugar daddy. That wasn't expected. And someone messaged me and said it was the same sugar daddy that Jax and Tom Sandoval had when they were younger. And I just need to know if that's true. The biggest part of the episode when they're in Santa Barbara is the strife with Michelle and Jesse. Jesse calling her a hooker. Michelle's obviously not a hooker. Good person? I don't know. Hooker? Certainly not. And Jesse spending all of their money and just like being a mess. And the other part was about Nia and Danny's drinking problem and how Danny was like sneaking shots in the kitchen and like throwing back the wine and whatever. And we learned in the beginning of the season, like 3 episodes ago, that there was a situation with Danny where he grabbed Jasmine's thigh and said, "Get daddy a drink." Get daddy a drink. Talk about the least sexy thing you could possibly say. And then he grabs Jasmine's fiance's ass, which is so fucking crazy. And we saw the confrontation about that moment on the show. And first, what we saw is Danny like apologizing, saying, "This is not in my character. This is not my nature. I'm so sorry." But then when we're flashing back while Jasmine is doing her confessional, we see how the conversation began. And Danny was like, "I can't believe you're doing this to me on camera. I literally cannot believe you're doing this to me." Like very victim energy, very like I'm being I'm being attacked. But eventually we got to the apology point, and it seemed like Jasmine had kind of forgiven him. But obviously, like you got to keep one eye open for Selena, and her eyes are open. So after Michelle and Jesse have their blowouts, like 2 rather large ones at dinner, Danny doesn't make it, even though Jesse catered it and it's supposed to be very nice because he's drunk, right? And Nia, they had heard Nia in the bus earlier in the day talking to Danny on the phone, having an angrier exchange. And when Danny got back, he got lit and then he got sleepy and then he went to bed. I think with Brittany, I don't think, is very clear that she feels like Nia and Danny are hiding something or like lying about the state of their relationship and things aren't as good as they actually seem, and that Danny has a drinking problem. And honestly, if you're sneaking shots, that's a red flag. All right, that's as far as I'll go. That is a red flag. Have I taken a shot alone before? Yeah, but like at a bar where I have to escape and I just need a drink, like just hit me with a shot of Casamigos. Been there, but it's not. I'd rather do it with someone else. Like, I don't know. As an adult, if you have to hide things, that's not great because the best thing about being an adult is being able to do what you want to do. And but that's just me. So Jasmine is already on high alert because of his like bring daddy a drink behavior and the grabbing of her fiance's ass. And she saw him earlier drinking some tequila on the sneaks. Brittany is in the throes of her shit show with the demon she married, Jax, who was constantly rage texting her, calling her fat and ugly, and just coked out freak show. And this is all airing on national television. And the thing is, I don't feel bad for her about that because, girl, this is your dream. You pitched the show, I'm sure. Like you want to be here. So, and I get the frustration. Like I'm bleeding out. You're seeing all my family shit. Like my kid is eventually going to see this shit. I would like it to not all be on my shoulders. Zach, by the way, when Nia got up from the table and went to Danny, who was asleep, to like check on him and tuck him in, Zach heard Jasmine and Brittany talking shit the second that Nia got up. Zach decides to say, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, instead goes straight to Nia and tells her the shit that they're talking. And then Nia confronts Brittany, and Brittany is like, I show everything in my life. Why do you get to see everything in my relationship? And Nia's like, well, what? And my thing is, there's a time and a place. This was not the circumstance to lose your shit, because nothing had happened to merit it. Like, he didn't do anything crazy. He just got like normal drunk and fell asleep, right? He might have been sneaking some shots, but he didn't behave like a beast. Everybody at that table, other than Kristen and Luke, were behaving like he had, like, why don't we just cop to him being drunk? Like, I didn't hear Nia ever say that he wasn't drunk. She just said he was also like, he's really tired. He drove all last night. And Luke and Kristen are pointing out, like, they have 3 kids. Like, he's probably exhausted. And it felt like much ado about nothing. And if you were going to really make this a conversation, you should have waited for a more pertinent moment, a moment where they were more obviously being sneaky. Because do I feel as though they're hiding some shit? Sure. I think that, especially when Nia like likes to seem perfect. Does Danny have a drinking problem? Maybe. Um, those two things don't work together well, and it eventually blew up in on national television. And I think that unless he does something egregious again, that Brittany and Jasmine would be better off biting their tongues for now and just like letting it play out. But damn, Brittany is going through it. I guess that's what happens when you marry Satan. Satan. Okay. Oh, I want to close on one thing. Roni isn't canceled. Okay. Roni is not canceled. I don't understand where this is all coming from. Andy Cohen can't say it enough. Like, the show isn't canceled. They are casting currently to add new women. He said, I literally just, we were going through casting with 10 new women right now to see if anyone's a good fit. Like, I don't know where this narrative came from. And I'm actually glad it's not canceled. I don't think it should be. I think that these shows need time to marinate. I don't expect every show to be like Salt Lake City. You can't be bangers right out the gate. You have to find your footing. You have to figure out the vibe of the show, the kind of cast members that will like make it pop, uh, personalities that clash and complement, and that takes a moment. It does. So I think that we should keep the cast as is. Really? Maybe add a 1 or 2 people, but I can't think of anyone that, oh, well, okay, so Bryn is a personality disorder, or just a walking, talking personality disorder, right? Something is amiss. Something is dark and scary. I don't know what it is exactly. I'm not sure. Um, there's something like really dark happening, and I've said it a million times. Like, she wants to be perceived as like this socialite woman about town, woman of means, Russian billionaires, blah blah blah. And she's so loud and brash about it that it's so insincere. I know she's lying about a bunch of stuff. I've gotten so many DMs from people who know her who's like, oh no, she's the worst, and you don't want to get on her bad side. But, like, I think on national television, having her behavior showcased, it might be the only time she ever gets, like, the proper, pushback for her psycho behavior. Um, I don't know, like, I think she carried the season, frankly. She made the last few episodes, like, so fucking good. Dark, real dark. Like, she's gives adolescent private school boy on a scholarship with a complex about it. That is her personality. I know that boy. I went to school with that boy. He's insufferable. He's Everybody can see through him. Everybody's talking about him behind his back. Okay. And I say adolescent boy because she's oversexed. Perhaps that is also like a coping mechanism for the trauma that she has endured. I'm struggling to be nice about her despite what she has experienced. Okay. That's all I'll say. But yeah, I'm glad Roni isn't canceled. I'm looking forward to getting those hoes back. If I see a single prank, okay? I'm going to lose my mind. Do not prank. No, this isn't punked. You guys aren't good at it. It is annoying. It feels like you're trying to trick us. No, 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 no. I think they've learned their lesson. Okay? And that is reality TV things. Moving on to our next topic, Hot Girl Things, where we talk about policy, politics, world news, and some social issues here and there. Okay, so this past week there were ICE raids in DC, and Aaron Parnas. I don't know if you know the TikToker. He has huge social media across a lot of platforms: Instagram, Substack, great one. He announced a couple days prior that there would be ICE raids in DC, specifically for like gig workers, people who do DoorDash and Uber, who zips up around our city, and like people working in food services at at Subways, I believe. And he has all of these Republican conservative pundits, talking heads, just freaking out, saying that he should be arrested. He should be thrown in jail for talking about the fact that these raids were going to happen, for like leaking it. And he didn't leak anything. The information was publicly available, and he just publicized it to his following. He didn't get it from a specific source. It was available on the internet. You're going to have to go back to your people to figure out who that leak is. It certainly isn't Aaron's fault, but like, yeah, as we fall into fascism, we're going to see more crooked Trump appointees, like the attorney general, threaten journalists and independent media and anyone who says anything uh, uh, potentially negative about this administration. I think there aren't enough jails in the world to hold uh, everyone that thinks he's a fucking stain on this earth. But alas, it's so crazy to me. I posted just like the most benign comic of, it was Donald Trump accepting a bunch of cash in a plane from like Qataris. I posted it on my story, and some woman was like, bye. And I clicked on her profile, and obviously it said like, God, America, Trump. And I wanted to respond like, girl, what are you doing here? I'm not hiding shit. You follow me on Instagram? That's probably where I'm most political. How did you miss this about me? I don't, anyways, that's besides the point. So, I can only say this on the podcast, because opening this up to the broader world might be misinterpreted. But like, I swear to God, guys, every time I left my home that last week after hearing about the ICE raids that were going to take place, I saw any visibly Hispanic person outside, I wanted to be like, get inside the house. What the fuck are you doing? Oh my God, the enemy is coming for you. The enemy is approaching. You must hide. Just like, give it a week. Stay inside. They're slamming bitches to the ground in Massachusetts. I don't want to see you slammed. Like, every time I want to be like, what are you doing here? Come inside. Fuck. It seems to have quieted down. Obviously, it is not over. Like, you have the government saying this is the new normal, and perhaps it is. Yeah, we're just going to have to grin and bear it for the next 3 years. This is what people voted for. This is the life the American people chose. So I'm just sad for the people who didn't vote for this, that will be impacted the absolute most. It's sad. It's dark. Also, I wanted to discuss, this isn't like overtly political, but the statue of the Black woman that was put in Times Square. I am so confused by the response. She is your everyday, average looking Black woman. And by average looking, I mean, she looks like a bunch of women in this country, right? Like, she is a little curvier. She has like braids. She was wearing jeans and a t-shirt. She was standing there with a very just like calm, demure look on her face, not bothering anyone. And yet the commentary about this woman has been, she's a beast. She's so angry. She's monstrous. And this woman looks like uh, a lot of people's moms, like a lot of people's aunts, a lot of people's like sisters, cousins. And to denigrate them and say that they are not worthy of being immortalized like that because you're not what? I don't know, because you don't have like lashes, a 40-inch bust down, and sleep in a faja? That's what you want to represent? I posted a video about this on my TikTok, and the response I got personally gave me some more faith in humanity. I think it's just the people have darkness living inside of them that are happy to be like loud and evil, like truly depraved. Some of the shit that they're saying is, but the majority of people aren't, that don't feel like that. The silent majority, as some of my favorite people say. And I wanted to make that video just like hoping that the woman who modeled for this larger than life statue, this epic piece, sees it and understands that like all of the hate is nonsense, that she is beautiful, she's perfect, and everyone that looks like her and found joy in that statue because they feel represented for the first time in all of their natural glory, that them as they are is exceptional, that they don't have to alter themselves to some Eurocentric standard to be deemed worthy for anything. And I hope she knows that that's what the majority, vast majority of people feel. And it's just those hateful, disgusting fucks with a microphone and truly no self-worth, full of ego, full of self-hate, anti-Black, coonery. And it is coonery. And white women who are listening to this, just to be clear, you're not allowed to use that word. I am, but you aren't. Back to the statue. Whoever you are, beautiful lady who posed for it, just know you are stunning, you're perfect, you're gorgeous, and you are appreciated. That statue means a lot to a lot of people, including me. So thank you. And that is it for this episode of Saron Things. Thank you so much for listening today. Please listen to this podcast on Spotify, podcast, and everywhere else you can find your shows. Please do not forget to leave me a review. That matters a lot. It really helps. And that's all. Okay. I will talk to you next week.